Now, the WMAL Fisher House Radiothon continues. Please support our wounded warriors and their families by calling in your contribution now. 888-294-8560. That's 888-294-8560.
It's 7:07 here on this Friday, the 5th day of December. Thanks so much for tuning in to O'Connor and Company, especially today as we continue our Fisher House Radiothon as we do every year and have done now, going on our 23rd year. Thank you so much for all the support you give to Fisher House. You kind of make us look good, and we appreciate that. And, of course, you're helping out all of our veterans in active duty and their families. Coming up at 8:05, in addition to our Fisher House programming, we'll have the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, Jason Smith, talk about a brand new GAO study that shows, well, what appears to be rampant fraud in the Obamacare system. We'll get to that coming up. But first, I'm Larry O'Connor, and that right there is Patrice Onwuka. Good morning, Patrice.
Good morning. Happy Fisher House Friday, everybody.
Yes, happy Fisher House Friday indeed. Joining us right now, excuse me. Joining us right now is Aimee Huber. She's the executive director of First Choice Women's Resource Centers, and her attorney, Gabby McIntyre from Alliance Defending Freedom. The both of these amazing women had a day in court this week in the Supreme Court. You would ask, why would executive director of a pregnancy crisis center helping women who make the choice to keep their baby but need some help and need some counseling, need some resources. Why on earth would you need a lawyer? Why would you have to go to the Supreme Court? Well, Aimee, sadly, you had very good reason to go to the Supreme Court. Please tell us your story, and thank you, first of all, for everything that you do, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. So yes, going to the Supreme Court is never something that I thought I would ever do as a pregnancy center director, but it was necessary because we were served with an unlawful subpoena by New Jersey's Attorney General 2 years ago. It commanded us to release up to 10 years of documentation on our donor communications, our advertising, our statements about abortion pill reversal, and even our donors' identities. So standing up to that was necessary because it was such a clear case of government overreach and harassment.
And as usual, the incredible warriors at Alliance Defending Freedom were there for you, arguing the case. Gabby McIntyre, thank you so much for joining us. There was a moment, I saw this, listened to the audio, where Justice Clarence Thomas, in his incredibly nonplussed and straightforward manner, got an amazing revelation here, which was there was never any predicate here. There was no reason other than what you tell me. Was this just harassment?
Yeah, it was truly never more clear than on Tuesday that this is pure government intimidation masquerading as law enforcement. You're exactly right. Justice Thomas got that concession that there is no factual basis, no complaints from donors to think that First Choice is deceiving its donors. This is a targeted harassment campaign, this unfounded subpoena. And when a state government official targets and harasses his ideological opponents like that, he should be held accountable in federal court for violating those constitutional rights. And I think that that's what the justices were recognizing, and we're very hopeful in a victory.
You know, Gabby, talk about the historical precedent of donor disclosure. I mean, the Supreme Court has weighed in on this issue going back to the civil rights era. And Aimee, if you would, I would love for you just to talk about, the importance of what First Choice Women's Resource Centers actually do, because the media is I'm just looking at a headline that calls it anti-abortion pregnancy centers, but that's not what you guys are about. So it's a two-part question for each of you.
By the way, can I just say something real fast? Anything that is a pregnancy center that involves helping a pregnant mother develop and give birth to a baby, by definition, would be anti-abortion, I think. Because you can't have both, all right? All right.
It truly is very clear. Yep. Yeah, Justice
Gabby.
Roberts brought this up, that that this court, he said this almost exact quote, this court continually has recognized that we protect donor privacy. And he's exactly right. There is precedent backing this up. We have the Americans for Prosperity Foundation versus Bonta case before the court, where that had to do with donor privacy, and the court was very clear. We take that very seriously when you have a government official who's asking for that information, demanding that information. There's also the NAACP case If you look at our pleadings, we mention that case a lot because, back in the civil rights era, you're exactly right. There were government officials trying to go after the membership list of the NAACP, and the mere existence of that demand was enough to reduce the NAACP's membership by 50%. So this is very serious.
We serve women in unplanned pregnancies and have for 40 years. So women who are scared and vulnerable and think that abortion is their only option can come to us for professional services and compassionate care, all free of charge.
Well, and this, of course, so obviously demonstrates the lie of the term pro-choice, because they are only pro-one choice. And since you're offering support and alternatives for other choices, like keeping a baby and giving birth to that baby, they come after you this way. And again, this was the Attorney General of New Jersey. And I just want to be clear here. This Attorney General got into office, Matthew Platkin, got into office, took hold of the Attorney General's office in New Jersey, and just decided, even though there were no complaints, there was no suspicion of any crime or anything, no underlying predicate, Aimee, this Attorney General just said, we don't care. We're going to issue subpoenas, and we're going to investigate, and we're going to hunt, and we're going to fish, and we're going to try to find something. That's what happened?
That's correct. Absolutely.
And if I could, Counselor McIntyre, obviously it appears as though the Supreme Court will support the Constitution here and support the rights of your client. But most of us hear this story and they say that's not enough. There needs to be some punishment. That if an attorney general, a politician, an elected official utilizes the government to go after an individual citizen exercising their freedoms, there should be penalties. There should be repercussions. Is this criminal behavior?
Well, so what we're arguing and what's before the court right now is whether First Choice will have its day in federal court. And that certainly is a huge deterrent effect. You need that federal court system in order to check this state officials' power at the state level. You run the risk, of course, in certain states where the governor appoints both the attorney general as well as the state court judges. So you run a risk of a very insulated proceeding, and that's exactly why Section 1983 of the Civil Rights Act exists, is to make sure that folks like First Choice have their day in federal court, and that's so important. Justice Kavanaugh even brought up the ACLU filed a brief in support of First Choice in this case because it spans across the ideological spectrum. If you have a hostile attorney general, and we certainly do in this case, he's made no secret of his hostility towards pregnancy centers, and you have that attorney general harassing and targeting his ideological opponents, then those litigants, those recipients of that subpoena, they need to be able to hold him accountable in federal court.
Well, we'll be following that as well. And I'm guessing, based on the analysis I saw in the write-ups, but you were in the room, if you had to guess, how do you think this is going to come down?
Well, we're certainly very hopeful for a victory. I believe that each of the justices truly did grasp that this is an unfounded investigation, that this is weaponization of the state government to go after his ideological opponents, and that they see the importance of making sure that you protect donor privacy and allow these litigants to have their day in federal court.
Well, this is why we love Alliance Defending Freedom. And Gabby McIntyre, thank you for fighting this fight on behalf of the First Choice Women's Resource Centers. And Aimee Huber, again, thank you for what you do. Let's have a bit of a boomerang effect here, sort of like the Streisand effect. They're coming after you. They're intimidating you. I would hope that this would increase donations and increase attention and raise awareness for what you're doing. So if somebody wants to help out your center, what should they do? Where can they go?
Sure. Thank you so much. They can just go to firstchoicegives.com. Firstchoicegives.com.
There it is. God bless you.
Terrific.
Merry Christmas.
Happy
holidays,
Thank
and thanks for joining us.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939. You're listening to the WMAL Fisher House Radiothon. Call to donate 888-294-8560.
Yes, and thank you so much for all of the donations you've already given and the donations you're about to give at 888-294-8560 as our radiothon now is fully into its second day, and we'll continue with our conversations all through our programming today through Derek Hunter's show ending at 6 p.m. talking about the amazing work that Fisher House does. And to that end, joining us right now is Debbie Alley. She is the mother of a son who was injured in Afghanistan, and that's when Fisher House came in. Debbie, thanks so much for joining us to tell your story.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? I know you love to brag on your boy August, so tell us, he's quite a stud. He's a pararescue hero there for the Air Force, right?
Yes, sir. You betcha by golly. Well, I'll tell you about August. He got shot through both legs when his pararescue team was going in to rescue 3 downed Marines in Afghanistan on July 15th, 2011. And so the beginning story was, thank God for Fisher House. Thanks for doing this for Fisher House, y'all. The beginning story was after he was shot and they stabilized him, they sent him to Germany. And my oldest son is also pararescue. He actually retired from 21 years last December, and now he does the same thing for the government as a contractor. But anyway, they sent my oldest son, who was the officer, to be with August in Germany. And so Robbie, my son, was the first one to use Fisher House, which I didn't even know. I didn't even know he got to stay in a Fisher House until Fisher House came to my home in Maine in 2022 and did a commercial about my son, August. And when Robbie was telling his story, that's when I learned that he was the first one to get to use. So when you think you know something about your kids, you know nothing. Anyway, so he was very grateful. He was grateful because they sent him from the States to be with August, and he just wanted to spend time with his brother and be there for him. So Fisher House made it peaceful and calm for him so he could just be there and focus on what he had to do. And then my husband and my 2 daughters and I, we went down. They took him from Germany down to BAMC, Brooks Army Medical Center in Texas. And so we all went down and converged and stayed at the Fisher House there. And it was amazing. They had, of course, everybody is right around you, giving you all the kind of information you know at the Fisher House. You meet all these other families that are going with the same horrible things. Lots of things are going on. They make like a family cushion around you. They provide, people would come in and give us meals. They told us how to get from A to B. Everything was lovely, and it was and all the donations pay for this. So I always like to emphasize that I am retired military myself, Air Force, and I like to emphasize the fact of the donations that people make to Fisher House makes this possible. But when someone's going to deal with a loved one, they need a safe place to be that they can decompress and be, and it's free. And young military families and older families, I've got a little story I'm going to tell you about another veteran and Fisher House in a minute, but they need things they can afford, and this is free, and it's amazing. It's a blessing. And thanks for doing this fundraiser every year.
Well, thank you for your service, and thank you for sharing that, Debbie. I mean, I was going to ask you about some of the families you've met, so I would love for you to share that story you just teased up for us.
Yes, so I'll kind of just hang with me for a second here because I go around the block. But I had the last Patriot magazine, which is the product of the Fisher House that they put out, and there is Executive Director Michelle Horn, and David Nye is the managing editor, and they write, well, David especially, they write like 90% of these interviews that they do with people, and they're amazing. And so I noticed in the last one that just came out, Fisher House I knew was opening, and they did open their 100th house, which is amazing. But they also have one coming up that they're getting ready to open in New York. But the one that caught my eye is there's one down the road going to happen in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Now, I was stationed in Puerto Rico, and my August's father is Puerto Rican, and he commissioned from the University of Puerto Rico in Mayagüez, anyway, around the block, when I saw that they were opening it in San Juan, when August was competing, Fisher House doesn't just have these homes. Fisher House donates to Wounded Warrior, Warrior Games, the Invictus Games, all kinds of things to help those wounded have confidence and get back up and move. So they're not just sitting there. And so when August competed in the 2014 games, Wounded Warrior Games in Colorado, I met 3 Special Forces guys that happened to be from Puerto Rico. And the one gentleman's mother and father were doctors in Puerto Rico. I said, that must be amazing. Then when you're at home, you must have all this care. He looked at me and said, no, ma'am, because we can't get the veteran care there. So when I saw that Fisher House is opening this house in San Juan, this kid that had, well, he's a grown man now, had a mother and father doctor in Puerto Rico. Think about it. He couldn't go home and be with his family. He had to stay stateside to get the care he needed. But Fisher House is opening one of these houses. That means there's a VA right there that's helping these folks.
Yeah.
And I just said, you find these things, you pray for these things, and people are helping Fisher House, and Fisher House is going to fill that need. So I'm like, thank you, Lord.
Debbie,
I think that's amazing.
Thank you for your service. And
Thank
it is no
you so
wonder
much,
that you
Debbie.
raised 2 boys who ended up as pararescue for the Air Force. I don't think they had a choice with you as a mom. And,
no, it's the meanest mother in America. Can I tell you one more, just one small one? You got
I
time
can't.
for one small
I want to, but I can't. I'm so sorry. But
okay, Vietnam vets, keep donating, because one of my buddies in Maine, they've got a place in Augusta too, and he just lost both legs, and he and his wife stayed at the one in Augusta. So Vietnam vets, man up for your people.
God bless him. We'll keep him in our prayers, and you, and tell your son. And
Debbie.
August, if you missed that, by the way, August is the only active duty pararescue amputee. He's back out there doing his duty despite his amputee status. Thank you so much, Debbie. Appreciate it.
God bless you guys.
888-294-8560. If that didn't get you motivated, I don't know what will. Let's hear it and honor Debbie Alley and her family and her son August and what he has gone through and what he continues to do to serve our nation. 888-294-8560.
All right, we are at $136,060. Thank you so much, folks. Call 888-294-8560. It's 7:30.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington. Supporting our wounded warriors and their families. The Fisher House Radiothon continues on WMAL, a Cumulus station. News now. Now, the WMAL Fisher House Radiothon continues. Please support our wounded warriors and their families by calling in your contribution now. 888-294-8560. That's 888-294-8560.
7:37, it's O'Connor and Company, and yes, we are in the midst of our Fisher House Radiothon, and we are so grateful for your generosity, and I've got someone specifically that I want to call out here. This is a $50 donation from Stephen in Reston. He's been in law enforcement for 30 years, and he would like to challenge the law enforcement family. We know you're listening. We know you're part of our family. Law enforcement, he would like to challenge you to also support the great cause that is Fisher House. Stephen in Reston, thank you for your service as a cop, and also thank you for that $50 donation to Fisher House. $50 goes such a long way, Patrice, with Fisher House.
And thank him for his challenge. Let's see some other in law enforcement step up. I'm looking forward to the fight.
Well, by the way, speaking of law enforcement stepping up, at 8:35, we're going to speak with Steve Sun, former chief of Capitol Police. We're going to get his response to the arrest of the suspect for the J6 pipe bomb. Also, at 8:05, Chairman of Ways and Means, Jason Smith. So that's all coming up. But first, we've got, I love it when this happens. We do the Fisher House Radiothon. People listen, they get inspired, and they want to join in the fun and bring their generosity to the table. So here we have friend of the radio station, friend of the program, friend of mine, Sarah Reynolds. You hear me talk about her often with Reynolds Empower Home Team. Sarah, good morning. Merry Christmas.
Good morning, Larry. Good morning, Patrice.
Good morning.
All right, I'm very excited here because you specifically said you wanted to talk about Fisher House, and in the past you guys have been incredibly generous. So, what would you like to tell us?
Yes, Debbie and I are so excited to continue to support Fisher House and the amazing work that they do, and we are launching right now a $5,000 matching donation to Fisher House.
Let's go.
Thank you so much.
That is awesome. Sorry, now you know you're in real estate, right? So it's all about the fine print. So let's just lay this out here. It's like I got a stack of closing documents in front of me. When you say matching, so what you're telling me is if somebody calls in right now and donates $25 because of your generosity, that's going to be a $50 donation. Is that what you're saying?
That's right.
Let's
yes,
go.
Yes, that's right.
That's fabulous. Well, thank you so much. That is so great. And while I've got you, how has this year been? You know, we hear all these mixed messages about the economy and the this bubble's bursting and that bubble's bursting and housing issues. I mean, how would you assess 25 from your perspective?
Yeah, so 2025 was definitely a softer year in real estate when it comes to number of sales, and also overall, we have leaned more towards a buyer's market this year. But our team has had one of the best years in our history this year. And so we're so blessed, and that's why we're able to do this match today is so many in our community have called us, have supported us, and we're just so grateful for the D.C. metro area and being able to serve so many buyers and sellers this year.
That's so great.
You know, that's wonderful, Sarah. We're speaking with Sarah Reynolds from the Reynolds team. You know, thinking about next year, and, you know, there's so many young people who want to get into the market. Well, how do you feel like the market is going to look next year? Do you think it's going to be a really strong opportunity, not just for buyers, but also for sellers to get off the sidelines?
Well, this is the thing about real estate, and something that I truly am so passionate about is that no matter when you purchase the home, real estate over a 10-year cycle always goes up. And, you know, my very first house I bought in 2007, it was during the Great Recession, and a lot of people would say that was a bad time to buy. Well, that house has turned into such a great investment property for me and my husband, and it's because of the power of real estate. And so right now, being able to buy a home, more buyers are actually able to buy right now, and we're more balanced. And so if someone is looking to start, you know, they're building wealth in real estate, 2026 is for sure the year to do it. And the amazing thing about our team system and partnering with Debbie now for almost 20 years, she's been in the business now almost 40 years, is that, and why we've had such a great year is that sellers know that we are the team that gets it done no matter the market. Yeah. And so if you need to move, we're here to help.
And you know what they say about Debbie? She's got the buyers.
That's right.
Debbie, in
fact, she does.
Debbie has the buyers.
Yes.
Sarah Reynolds, thank you. I love you. I love your family. You know that. And I love
we love you, Larry.
We've been partners now for over 10 years, believe it or not. And I'll never forget the first day we met. And I can also say from firsthand experience as one of your clients that you truly do treat everyone you come in contact with like family. And this additional generosity. And it makes such perfect sense because you help people in their homes, get their homes, sell their homes. And here Fisher House is all about building homes for our veterans and their families. So thank you so much for this matching gift. So much. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go continue to support the amazing work of Fisher House.
That's right. And every donation you make now will be matched by Sarah and Debbie and the entire Reynolds Empower Home team up to $5,000. So let's just do that. Let's just clean it up this half hour, and we'll have a big announcement. Thanks, Debbie. 888-294-8560.
You're listening to the WMAL Fisher House Radiothon. Call to donate 888-294-8560.
And I'll remind you, we just heard from Sarah Reynolds of Reynolds Empower Home Team that there is now a $5,000 match challenge active. Every single donation that you make to Fisher House will be matched up to $5,000. 888-294-8560. Patrice, we've got a great man on the line right now. He is the president of Fisher House Foundation. He was employee number one when Zach Fisher started this whole thing 30 years ago, and he's seen it all. Dave Coker. Dave, Merry Christmas. It's great to talk with you as always.
Merry Christmas, and boy, thanks to Sarah and the Reynolds team. What amazing supporters they've been through the years.
Well, you make it easy for people to want to give and support. It's hard to say no to you, Dave, and all of the great people at Fisher House. As you look back on this year where you hit that milestone of your 100th home, sort of assess where Fisher House is right now and what the greatest need you see going forward in continuing to serve our military.
Well, the greatest need is always awareness, letting people know that there's still a need and that life happens. When you get that call and you learn that a loved one is injured or ill, to know there's a resource such as Fisher House that can help and let the family be a part of the healing process. The first thing you want to do is be there, and you're going to do anything you can. If it's making hotel reservations and running up the credit card, to know there's a safe, comfortable, supportive environment that there's to let you be a part of the healing process can take such the edge off. And, so often isolation is the enemy. When you go and you're in a hotel room by yourself, your fears, your thoughts just take advantage of you. But when you're in a Fisher House, you're with others and you support one another. You share the joy. You share the burden, and it just makes you stronger for the challenges that face the day.
Wow. I would love for you to talk about just the good stewardship of Fisher House. I mean, at this time of year, there are lots of people asking for money, some of which are scams and some are just nonprofits that waste people's donations. But talk about how Fisher House has stewarded the money that's been entrusted to you guys.
Well, Ken Fisher, our chairman, is a businessman, and he is very strong in his belief that we need to run this like a business. We're not into building a kingdom or a bureaucracy. We're here to be a part of the solution. And so as we go about, number one, if you're giving a gift of a house, you better have that money before you go. And in terms of our infrastructure, we keep it small so that every dollar we raise above what we need to operate is there to bless somebody and to meet a need that otherwise is not being met.
Dave Coker, as you know that we're heading toward the holiday season, that's why we always sort of time the Fisher House Radiothon right around this time. And I know that you equip these Fisher Houses to embrace the holidays because these families, the crisis that they're going through and the health emergencies they're going through, it doesn't matter what the calendar looks like. Is this a special time for the staff and for everything that happens at these Fisher Houses when you sort of bring the holiday cheer to these families as they're going through so much?
It is. It's so fun to see the way, the community that receives the gift of a Fisher House. Here in the D.C. area, we have 9 houses.
Yeah.
And to see the way the community comes together, some people will come and they'll carol. They'll bring holiday goodies. They'll help decorate the house. And while, you're still dealing with challenges, you still want to celebrate life's moments and those moments in between. And some of the houses, the community brings in stockings and hangs them on the door while the people are sleeping. So when they get up, you get to celebrate and have that sense of normalcy. It's a special time. Well, life goes on. You've got your challenges, but you still want to celebrate those birthdays, those anniversaries, and of course Christmas.
Well, Dave Coker, between you and your chairman and CEO, Ken Fisher, who we spoke with yesterday, and, of course, Michelle Horn, your VP of Communications, like I said, you make it easy to work for you and do whatever we can to make sure that you keep doing the Lord's work at Fisher House. So thank you for everything you do. And I know you're looking forward to your next 30 years as president of Fisher House. So let's get that going.
I am. We're just getting started, and it's really the listeners that make it all happen. So Thank you to each and every one.
Amen to that. All right, listeners, you just heard it from Dave Coker. It's all about you, so step up. 888-294-8560. Every dollar donated doubled now by Reynolds and Power Home Team with that very generous match. 888-294-8560.